Because some states, they pioneered a new technology called let people come into our stores, walk out with whatever they want, and we won't prosecute them. Yes, Minnesota has legalized crime.
Earlier this week, Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty said her office would soon stop prosecuting felony crimes stemming from low-level traffic stops. Police chiefs across Hennepin County are calling out what they describe as a harmful announcement.
This new directive is deeply troubling.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, if you are like me, you may have been to a Target, a CVS, a Walgreens, or any of a number of stores that have recently, in the past, say several years, that have installed these big, like, glass or plastic clear, see-through plastic type of cases where when you want to buy something, you have to call to a clerk. They have to fumble with the key and open it up, and you say, hey, I want to see that one. Then you look at it, you read it, like, no, I don't want this one. You hope they don't walk away because you might want to see the other kind of whatever, detergent or whatever it is you're looking to buy. It's just a very uncomfortable experience. It costs you time, it costs you effort, sometimes frustration, and I'm sure for the clerk too, they have better things to do than stand there while you're reading, the ingredients, the ingredients in the dish liquid that you're trying to buy. And why do we have to live like this? Because some states, they pioneered a new technology called let people come into our stores, walk out with whatever they want, and we won't prosecute them. Some states, I think maybe some of those western states like California, they say, hey, if you steal under $950, yeah, shoplifting, but we're not going to really worry about that. So people started saying, oh, word? And we've all seen the videos of people just walking into the store and taking whatever they want. So in a sense, those states legalized crime, and it affected all of us. I'm all the way on the other side of the country, and that traveled right across the country to my area. I'm sure to your area too. And now we all have to suffer the consequences of this. Well, y'all, I have bad news for you. Okay. Are you sitting down? Are you buckled up if you're in your car? Are you sitting down? Minnesota has just legalized crime, y'all. It's a new type of crime legalization that is probably going to be coming to a woke DA's office near you. I'm sorry to be the person. I'm sorry this is something we are encountering in our reality. But yes, Minnesota has legalized crime, and I'm going to explain it to you today. This is not an exaggeration. This is not clickbait. Just like California legalized shoplifting, Minnesota has also legalized crime. And it's coming to a DA near you. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. But before we do, y'all, make sure you take care of your money. I'm not going to make this a long one, y'all. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com, or call 844-651-8334, 844-651-8334. If you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement, protected from inflation, protected from monetary debasement. You're about to retire. Make sure your money's still there and it's still worth something by investing at least some of it in gold. Talk to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Go click the link now, get the free information, and protect your precious retirement.
Police chiefs across Hennepin County are calling out what they describe as a harmful announcement.
This new directive is deeply troubling.
Earlier this week, Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty said her office would soon stop prosecuting felony crimes stemming from low-level traffic stops. Think expired tabs, broken tail and headlights, faulty windshield wipers.
Non-public safety traffic stops harm our community. In particular, our Black and Brown community members.
She says this is also ineffective and discriminatory, citing a DOJ report that found, in 2018, MPD recovered a gun in less than 1% of traffic stops. But this group says a lot has changed.
It was made without consultation, without collaboration, and without respect for those of us who serve these residents every day.
Minnetonka Police Chief Scott Borboom is the president of Hennepin County Chiefs of Police Association. His group cited a number of examples of a traffic stop resulting in finding a dangerous criminal.
Just this year, our deputies and detectives have seized 377 illegally possessed guns. Nearly half, 47%, of those illegally possessed guns we've confiscated are from traffic stops.
Hennepin County Sheriff Dana Wit acknowledged discrimination does exist, but says the abuse of authority is not as widespread as Moriarty makes it seem. Activist and attorney Nakima Levy-Armstrong said during Moriarty's announcement, these disparities are very real.
I believe that it will reduce trauma in our community. It will reduce wasting the time of officers who need to be focused on solving some of the serious crimes and murders.
The criminals are paying attention, people. It will put more lives at risk.
Moriarty responded in a statement saying other jurisdictions have implemented the same policy and the same objections arise every time, and they are overcome by the policy change being successful every time.
Now, Ramsey County has had a similar policy since 2021. An assessment from the Justice Innovation Lab shows public safety was not negatively impacted. I reached out to half a dozen agencies in Ramsey County, and Maplewood Police just got back to me. They said they have actually seen this as a positive change, and their officers have been able to concentrate on traffic stops that may threaten safety, like speeding tickets. Chris?
So, Sammy, does this change the way that law enforcement can pull people over?
Now, the association today, who had that press conference, says nothing's going to change for them. They're still going to do the same work they've been doing, and the law doesn't change. It's just how the attorneys are going to prosecute these felony cases that come from these low-level traffic stops.
So as you can see there, I'm going to explain it to you, even though they did a good job on that news piece. Previously, I should say, if a police officer saw you had your tail light was out or something, they could pull you over. If they felt that you were suspicious for any reason, what they could do is conduct a search. Okay, there are steps they had to follow, following the Fourth Amendment protocols. No unreasonable search or seizure, but there were ways they could try to get themselves into a search of your car if they felt you were suspicious or that something was off. Okay, so what kind of things might they uncover? Drugs, guns, whatever, contraband. You might have a warrant, whatever the case may be. Now, Hennepin County in Minnesota, which is probably the most important county, okay, which is the core of the Twin Cities metro area. It includes the largest city in Minnesota, Minneapolis. They just decided that if police officer pulls over your car for a minor traffic infraction, and then they were to search your car and find something that constitutes a felony, generally speaking, the prosecutor's office is not going to prosecute that felony that stemmed from a minor traffic stop. So you have one of the little Christmas tree things that are supposed to smell good that you hang from your rear view mirror, Those things are probably illegal in your area. But let's just say you're in Minnesota, you're in Hennepin County, cop sees you with one of those. They're like, hey, you're not supposed to have that. They pull you over. When they come up to your window, they're like, this person's suspicious. And they get themselves by slick talking, they get themselves into a search of your vehicle. And inside your vehicle, they find something that you're not supposed to have that constitutes a felony. Let's say a nice brick of the white stuff. Now, the prosecutor is going to say, that person did have a brick of the nice white stuff, the good stuff. And yes, that is a felony. But we're not going to prosecute that because you found that as a result of stopping somebody because of one of the little Christmas tree things. So, y'all, you can already imagine the reason why the Hennepin County DA is taking this step. It has to do with protecting groups of people who are historically disadvantaged and who maybe have their cars stopped at a higher rate than other cars and maybe have their crimes uncovered at a higher rate than other groups. So the solution is, let's cover our eyes up and let's act like we didn't even see the crimes. Okay? So the real idea is to try to get the police to stop people less often and to search people less often, and thereby signal to all the criminals, yo, crime, it's open season for crime, baby, just like they did with the shoplifting thing. Okay, so y'all, this comes at a perfect time in Minnesota when there are mass shootings, when there are every other week there's a major fraud scandal that's uncovered, and now they're signaling to the criminals, hey, we're figuring out ways to let you get away with that. Y'all, take a look at this crazy fraud scheme that they just uncovered. I don't know how much. Minnesota has to be like the fraud capital of the world at this point, y'all. Take a look at this.
The money was just simply stolen.
Tonight, 8 people are facing federal charges in the massive housing stabilization program fraud scheme. And prosecutors say they expect to charge even more people. Investigators say the scheme cost taxpayers more than $300 million. That makes it bigger than the Feeding Our Future fraud case. Fox 9's Mike Manzoni has followed this story for months now. And Mike, tonight, we're learning that it took the state years to spot the fraud.
Randy, the Minnesota Department of Human Services says it alerted law enforcement as soon as it noticed signs of fraud, but that didn't happen until late 2023, 3 years after the housing program started. The program shelled out $302 million over 5 years. During that time frame, the state expected the program to cost only $12 million. DHS says it spotted signs of fraud in 2023 and started investigating right away. While it investigated, though, the potential fraud, it continued to pay claims tens of millions of dollars higher than expected. Then the feds raided multiple properties throughout the metro back in July, and today they announced charges against 8 suspects.
We cannot prosecute our way out of this problem. We must do more at the front end to stop the outflow of money. Everyone needs to pick up a shovel.
And tonight we're getting reaction from both Democrats and Republicans at the state capitol. Democratic Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy put out a statement saying in part, quote, "This is a serious problem and we are taking it seriously. While I appreciate we have continued work to do, I am encouraged. We do have increased program costs, in inadequate programmatic safeguards, and people overseeing our investment." And Republican State Representative Kristen Robbins, who chairs the House Fraud Prevention Committee, says, quote, "DHS ignored repeated credible reports of fraud. That failure shows that a culture of fraud has taken root in our state agencies." DHS shut down the housing program last month. The agency says it is now being more aggressive in stopping payments when it suspects fraud. In the newsroom tonight, Mike Manzoni, Fox 9.
So, y'all, the police in Hennepin County are absolutely apoplectic about this. They feel betrayed. They feel let down. They feel undercut. And you can kind of understand why, right? I mean, listen, I'm not a fan of over-policing, okay? So don't misunderstand me. I am not a fan of over-policing. But I think we all learned a lesson with the shoplifting epidemic that started in California, that when you take some of these decisions that maybe they seem like, oh, we're gonna help the people. Nah, man, you gotta really be careful about this stuff, because this stuff can have some huge consequences and it can backfire. And I think we need to all be careful ceding even an inch to criminality after we saw what happened with that shoplifting thing. So y'all, let me know, what do you think about this? Do you agree with this? Do you disagree? Do you think this is going to result in a flourishing of crime and criminality like we saw with the shoplifting situation? Or do you think, nah, this is just going to help correct the historical disparities? Let me know what y'all think down in the comments, y'all. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite social mediums. And if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. For my people with a retirement, go down, hit the first link in the description, Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com. Find out how to protect you know what political party is doing all this? What's gonna happen when they get back in power? They're gonna be coming for your money. You already know. Protect it, y'all. Speak to our people at Augusta Precious Metals at 844-651-8334. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.
My name is Scott Borbom, spelled SCOTTBOERBOOM. I serve as the Chief of Police for the City of Minnetonka and as President of the Hennepin County Chiefs of Police Association. Our association is made up of 34 police chiefs and the sheriff, serving 45 communities and more than 1.3 million residents, over 800,000 of whom live outside the city of Minneapolis. We are here today because of the Hennepin County Attorney's Office harmful announcement this week to no longer prosecute felony charges that come from low-level traffic stops. This one-size-fits-all policy will have serious consequences for policing and for public safety across our county. As an association, we are not often in front of the cameras. Most of the time, we are working behind the scenes, collaboratively with local leaders, supporting our officers, and making sure we deliver on our mission to serve and protect. But this new directive is deeply troubling, and we felt we had no choice but to speak out today. When we take the oath to become police officers, we swear to serve, to protect, and to uphold the laws of the state of Minnesota. We do not pick and choose which laws to enforce. Yet this decision by the county attorney does exactly that, putting us in an impossible position and making it harder for us to do our jobs. The decision also fails to recognize that each community in Hennepin County is different. The people of Minnetonka have very different needs from the people of Minneapolis, Medina, Bloomington, or Rogers. Yet this policy paints every community with the same broad brush. It was made without consultation, without collaboration, and without respect for those of us who serve these residents every day. This lack of transparency and communication is part of a larger ongoing problem. Just 2 weeks ago, at a public meeting, we asked the county attorney's office if they were developing this policy. We were told there were no updates. We stressed then, and we stress today, the importance of working together, of communicating openly, and of ensuring that the voices of law enforcement and our communities are included in these discussions. Once again, we were ignored. Public safety policy should never be made in a vacuum. These decisions directly impact the work of our departments and the safety of our residents. Community expectations differ from city to city. They deserve a voice in these decisions. This one-size-fits-all policy denies them that voice. Decisions of this magnitude should either be left to individual cities so each community can decide what works best for their residents, or taken up with the state of Minnesota through the legislative process. What should never happen is a sweeping policy dictated unilaterally by the county attorney without input from those most affected. We stand here today because we owe it to the people we serve to speak out against policies that weaken public safety, limit accountability, and create confusion across the county. Our commitment is and always will be to the residents of Hennepin County. I thank you for all being here, and at this time I'd like to introduce Sheriff Dana Wit.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Wit, last name spelled W-I-T-T. I'm the Sheriff of Hennepin County. This morning we are here to talk about the Hennepin County's decision not to prosecute felony cases that stem from low-level traffic stops. Lawful traffic stops are routinely led to the removal of illegally possessed guns, narcotics, and other serious threats from our streets. Again, lawful traffic stops. Just this year, our deputies and detectives have seized 377 illegally possessed guns. Nearly half, 47%, of those illegally possessed guns we've confiscated are from traffic stops. That's 175 guns just this year that were found during traffic stops. In May, our deputies made a traffic stop for illegal window tint in Minneapolis. The two occupants were wearing ski masks and gloves. A 9mm handgun that was modified to be fully automatic was found during that traffic stop. Through our investigation, we learned the firearm was connected to a shooting in Minneapolis and a homicide in Robbinsdale. Last May, our deputies made a stop for window tint and no license plate displayed. During that stop, they found a female passenger had visible injuries consistent with being assaulted. She had been stabbed by the driver and told that he was searching for a place to kill her. That victim credits law enforcement for saving her life that day from a traffic stop. I want to point out the page of Wednesday Star Tribune headline. 12 shot in Minneapolis in the span of 12 hours. With that amount of violence our area has endured over the last few months, now is not the time to lower the standards for public safety. The county attorney already has discretion in charging decisions, but a blanket refusal to prosecute felonies uncovered during these stops is a reckless overreach. This policy will embolden criminals. We see it every day in traffic stops where people who are committing criminal activities in our community say, we're not supposed to chase them. We're not supposed to pull them over. The criminals are paying attention, people. It will worsen the Hennepin County's already serious accountability problem, and it will put more lives at risk. At a minimum, these stops offer an opportunity to educate drivers about the law. When they do result in the seizure of illegal guns and contraband, it serves as crime prevention tool as well. Once again, the county attorney is prioritizing offenders over public safety. This policy will only create more victims, further harming all the residents of Hennepin County, and particularly those communities already suffering from some of the most unchecked crimes, unchecked violent crimes. There are laws in place for a reason. I have been pushing for lawmakers to make new laws to help prevent the violence that we have seen in our streets. That work is undermined if we refuse to prosecute existing statutes. If the county attorney doesn't agree with the law, she's also welcome to go to the legislature to try to change that. In the meantime, there may be a new policy, but that does not deter us from the work we do on the street every single day, the work that our Minnesota statutes allow us to do. In the meantime, with that policy, rest assured that the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office will continue to act under the law. Our deputies will continue to operate within the law, making lawful stops and lawful arrests, seizing illegal possessed guns, drugs, and other illegal matters that will cause harm to our communities in Hennepin County. We will continue to prioritize the safety of those we took an oath to protect and serve. With that being said, I'd like to invite Plymouth Chief McFadden up to the podium. Sorry, excuse me.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning. My name is Eric Fadden, spelled E-R-I-K, last name spelled F-A-D-D-E-N. I am the Public Safety Director for the City of Plymouth. I want to take just a few moments to highlight some of the great, outstanding work that our police officers do on a daily basis. Our officers enforce laws that are in place on the statute books and conduct outstanding police work and that is what our residents expect. In a time that we're talking so much about gun violence, I think that it's important to highlight just a couple recent examples of the great work that our officers are doing throughout Hennepin County, not just in the city of Plymouth. Year to date, in the city of Plymouth, our officers have recovered 22 guns. Some of them are from lower level traffic stops. Two recent examples. Just a week ago today, last Friday, one of our officers stopped a vehicle for illegal window tint. The officer during the traffic stop observed a firearm in the vehicle, and when they notified the driver of that vehicle that they saw the weapon, the driver fled. They were later located and were found to be a convicted felon and a person prohibited from carrying a firearm. Just 28 minutes after that traffic stop and fleeing occurred in our city, another officer stopped a different vehicle for illegal window tint. That vehicle fled from the officer and they never stopped. We later located that vehicle and learned that just hours before, that vehicle was involved in a homicide in another state and was coming to the state of Minnesota, presumably to flee from that crime. Those are just two examples. Now I'd like to turn it over to New Hope Chief Tim Hoyt.
Good morning. My name is Tim Hoyt, T-I-M-H-O-Y-T. I am the Chief of Police for the City of New Hope. I asked my staff to take the policy that was given to us that didn't work with us with Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty. I took this policy, gave it to my staff, and I told them to pick a couple of months and look at some of the laws that are in place and find out if we've had anything resembling what she wants to stop in any of our cities and tie it back to some crimes in the city of New Hope. One in particular, a victim from the city of Minneapolis reported to the Minneapolis Police Department within the past year that she is having an argument with her boyfriend. In quotes from the Minneapolis Police Department report, she said she tried to open a passenger door and get out. The person, her boyfriend, exited the driver's side and produced a black semi-automatic 9mm handgun and fired it at her leg. The victim said the shot missed her. The bullet was so close to striking her leg that she felt the blast of the gunfire. She could actually feel the bullet going by her. It didn't stop there. She said she tried getting out again, and her boyfriend grabbed her and fired a round at her head, just barely missing her. The Minneapolis Police Department took the report. They did everything correctly. They put an alert out to all of our agencies. 6 days later, one of my officers saw a vehicle traveling through our city with an obscured license plate. He notified the neighboring agency, which is the Crystal Police Department. The officers worked together. They ended up trying to stop the vehicle, and the vehicle ended up fleeing and crashing. The New Hope Police Department and Crystal police officers took the person into custody safely. It happened to be this male subject that had just assaulted 6 days prior his girlfriend. He was arrested for possession of a firearm, prohibited person in possession of a firearm with an altered serial number, and that domestic incident. Without making that traffic stop and our officers being diligent and looking at these violations, this would have never happened, and that person would have never been brought to justice. We're just asking that the Hennepin County Attorney at least ask us and get our input, which she did not do for this policy.